Hey everyone, Pastor Wes here with you on Wednesday afternoon. Hope you're having a good week. I'm going to talk just a little bit tonight and a few minutes next week about faithfulness versus having faith. And so talked about this a little bit before in other places, how in our daily lives we come across so many different people, and often when we come in contact with strangers and we begin to talk, whether we're in line somewhere or we just happen to meet out in town, in order to break the ice, we all typically will engage in what we call small talk. Nothing new. Small talk is just how we show friendliness to somebody. We discuss things, and the majority of the time the things that we talk about are very superficial. For decades, if not centuries, there's been one specific topic that seems to have dominated small talk all throughout, and especially here in Tennessee, and that's the weather. And probably for one of the first times in a long time, it seems there's a new topic that is kind of on its way, is poised to take over the new number one spot of small talk, and that's gas prices. Everywhere you go, everybody that you run into, people are talking about the price of gas and how gas has gone up. I saw something the other day, kind of made me laugh. It said only in America are people holding a $6 cup of coffee complaining about paying $4 for a gallon of gas. People seem more concerned about their gas tank than anything else in the world. Not to make it too lightly of it, I'm not happy about paying $4 a gallon either, just so you know. But I say this so that we can just consider the analogy of a gas tank. A gas tank is simply just a container that holds the gas that your car needs in order to get you from point A to point B. You fill it up at the gas station, and then you just slowly watch that needle make its way back down. And when it gets close to being empty again, you kind of just cross your fingers, hoping that by the time that your tank is running dry, that the gas prices have come down a little bit, and then you go and you fill it back up again. And the reason I say this is because sometimes we get the idea that our relationship with God is like a gas tank. Now, in some sense, it is true just a little bit to some extent, because we all have times where we feel spiritually low. We also have times where we've entered into an inspiring worship time and we feel encouraged and we feel like our tank is full to the overflow. But I want to say that such an analogy can be dangerous to our walk with the Lord, because faith is not like a gas tank that constantly needs topping off. Church is not a gas station that merely exists just to service our Christianity. The original disciples made a very similar mistake in their thinking, and even though they didn't have gas tanks back then, they thought that it was possible and necessary to top off their faith tank. And in Luke chapter 17, verse 5, they say this to the Lord. They said, "Increase our faith." And, the disciples were a lot like us, or we are a lot like they were. They felt that if they could have more faith, then they could be better disciples. And I think we've all been there at some point or another in our walk with the Lord, that if we had more faith, then we could serve the Lord better. We look at our life, we're not pleased with the things that we do, we're not pleased with what we see, and then we get this sense, because we are looking around at other people all the time, we get this sense that we could be doing better. And we say to ourselves, if only I had more faith, then I could be a better disciple. And we say the same thing to God: increase my faith. Just like the disciples said, we say that. We may not say it out loud, but we may think it. God, increase my faith. And what you've got to understand is that when you're saying, God, increase my faith, what you're saying in essence to God is, we're not able to do all this because you didn't give us enough faith in order to cover it. Just give me some more faith. Fill up my faith tank. And verse 6 of Luke chapter 17, I'm going to read this verse and then we'll talk more about it next week. But Jesus replied, "If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this tree, be uprooted and planted by the sea, and it will obey you." So it's not an issue of faith. Jesus said, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, this is what you can do. And what we need is faithfulness. And that's what we're going to talk about next week. Faithfulness versus an increase of faith. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Hope you have a good weekend. We'll see you next time. I love you. God bless you.